From Wish TV and the All Indiana Podcast Network, this is the News 8 Daily 8 Podcast with Wish TV's Kylie Conway. A Wish TV News 8 update.
Hi, this is Kylie Conway, and this is your News 8 Daily 8 for Monday, August 8th. There'll be a lot of dry time today, partly cloudy skies. The chances of showers and storms will increase later in the day and a little bit more north, but the severe risk remains very low. High temps in the upper 80s and extremely muggy outside. It's just going to feel uncomfortable again. There's a bipartisan effort to rename a VA clinic in honor of Indiana Congresswoman Jackie Walorski. The Indiana State delegation introduced a resolution on Friday to name the Mishawaka Clinic the Jackie Walorski VA Clinic. Walorski served on the House Committee for Veteran Affairs for 2 terms. The delegation says Walorski championed important reforms to improve veterans' lives. Funeral services for Walorski begin this week with a visitation Wednesday. Her funeral will start at 11 Thursday morning. Both the visitation and funeral will be at Granger Community Church outside of South Bend. Indiana's abortion debate may not be over, as one of the state's largest employers warns of consequences. Our All Indiana Politics analyst predicts state lawmakers may take another look at the new ban. Lilly says the ban could lead the company to expand in other states instead. Governor Holcomb signed the near-total abortion ban into law late Friday night. It takes effect September 15th. The ban allows abortions in cases of rape or incest before 10 weeks of pregnancy, deadly fetal abnormalities, or to protect the life and health of the mother. Lilly says the law will make it hard to recruit and keep top talent. We got perspective from either side of the aisle. Here's former state Democratic Party Chair Kip Tu.
I think it's not just Eli Lilly. I think it's the tech community. I think it's the legal community. I think it's young folks looking at where they want to live. We now know that millennials and the next generation care more about the sense of place than the job that they have, and they're going to pick where they want to live. And, you know, for Christian conservatives, Indiana's a great place to live. But for the rest of us, not so great.
Former Marion County Republican Party Chair Tom John says no piece of legislation is set in stone.
Those organizations, I think, can make their voices heard with the legislature coming up. And you could take a new look at this issue when you come into the next session. But I do think that there is going to be a lot of evolution over this potentially, because opinions have really not been vetted and fleshed out in the last couple of months. I think there's a lot to be heard yet.
Lilly was not one of the more than 250 businesses that joined in a letter from the ACLU opposing a ban before lawmakers passed it. We are working to get reaction from other major companies. For instance, IU Health, Indiana's largest healthcare system, says it's studying the new law. And the U.S. House will now consider a bill that the Biden administration says will fight inflation, invest in health, and slow climate change. Senate Democrats passed the $740 billion measure in a round-the-clock marathon of voting. Economists are calling the bill the largest ever federal effort on climate change. President Biden says it prioritizes American families. Senators passed the Inflation Reduction Act of 2022 Sunday. It was long party lines, meaning Indiana Senators Mike Braun and Todd Young voted against it. Cheers broke out as Vice President Kamala Harris cast the tie-breaking vote after an all-night session. It now heads to the Democrat-controlled House. The measure allows Medicare to negotiate for prescription drug prices and extend subsidies for health insurance under the Affordable Care Act for 3 years through 2025, and includes the largest ever federal effort to combat climate change, close to $400 billion. Democrats rejected some 36 Republican amendments designed to put Democrats on the spot over a new 15% tax on large corporations and a 1% tax on stock buybacks, forcing last-minute changes. Democrats say the measure will raise more than $700 billion in government revenue over 10 years. So here first, you're going to hear from Democratic Representative Zoe Lofgren, then Minority Senate Leader Republican Mitch McConnell.
It's a win for the American people. It's the biggest investment in climate change in history. It's going to lower the cost of medicine for senior citizens. It's going to help people with their health care premiums in the Affordable Care Act. And it's a very, very big deal.
Leaving Americans with higher electric bills, higher utility bills, higher gas prices, and more dependence on foreign countries that don't like us.
The president is urging the House to pass the bill as soon as possible. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi says House votes are expected Friday. And President Biden emerges from isolation. He left the White House for the first time Sunday since getting infected with COVID. The president's doctor says Biden tested negative Saturday and Sunday after his rebound case. That cleared the way for a reunion with First Lady Jill Biden in their home state of Delaware. Biden first tested positive on July 21st. And the president and First Lady will head to eastern Kentucky today to survey the damage left behind from historic flooding. Flooding remains a threat. The National Weather Service warns of more thunderstorms through Thursday. At least 37 people have died since last month, when 8 to 10 inches of rain fell in just 48 hours. Biden expanded federal funding to cover the cost of debris removal and other emergency measures. This is Biden's second visit to Kentucky. He toured the devastation left behind by deadly tornadoes last December. And we're hearing from Taiwan's foreign minister about his fears for his country. He says he's concerned China may launch a war against a self-governing island following House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's historic visit.
China has always been threatening Taiwan for years, and it's getting more serious in the last few years. And it's always been that way. Whether Speaker Pelosi visit Taiwan or not, the Chinese military threat against Taiwan has always been there, and that is the fact that we need to deal with.
Has Taiwan's democratic system ever been in more danger than it is today?
I can tell you that Taiwan is more resilient than before. Look at Taiwan these days. China is trying to impose trade sanctions against Taiwan, trying to attack Taiwan from military or non-military aspect. The life goes on here in Taiwan. And Taiwan shows its resilience.
China said overnight it is extending military exercises around Taiwan. Today marks the 5th straight day of military drills in the air and sea around the island. Taiwan has responded by putting its military on alert and deploying ships and planes to monitor Chinese activity. A fragile Israeli-Palestinian ceasefire appears to have held overnight. The agreement has paused a volley of back-and-forth attacks. Israel launched a strike Friday, aimed at heading off an anti-tank missile operation from Islamic Jihad. The fighting has killed at least 43 Palestinians, including 15 children and 4 women. More than 300 are wounded. Israel says it's partially reopening crossings into Gaza and would open them fully if peace holds. In the war in Ukraine, more food is heading out to the Black Sea. 6 more ships of grain and sunflower oil held up by the war are now free to sail. It's been 1 week since the United Nations deal opened up a corridor for safe cargo travel. Also, in the southeastern part of Ukraine, both Ukraine and Russia are accusing each other of shelling Europe's largest nuclear plant. Russian forces have occupied the power station for several months. Video from the Russian Defense Ministry showed some of the damage. Ukraine's state-run nuclear power company says the attack injured 1 worker and damaged 3 monitors. Colombia's first leftist president is now sworn into office. Gustavo Petro is a former member of the country's M19 guerrilla group. He won the presidential election in June on a promise to fight growing inequity and tackle violence. Petro called on the U.S. and other developed nations to change drug policies that have spurred violent conflicts across Colombia and other Latin American nations. Petro made more history after taking office. He swore in Francia Marquez as the new vice president. She becomes the first Black person to hold that office. And 2 of our region's largest cities are reeling from mass shootings. 3 people are dead and 9 more are wounded after shootings in Detroit Saturday. One happened in what police describe as a drug house. 2 people died there. The other was about 12 hours later during a dice game, killing 1 person. A week ago, a mass shooting in Detroit killed 1 person and wounded 8 more. Police say that one happened in an argument over parking. In Cincinnati, 9 people are wounded. Police say at least 2 people fired shots into a crowd outside a bar early yesterday morning. Authorities say all of the victims in Cincinnati should survive. Police say an officer fired at one of the shooters, but that person and another suspect got away. As of today, the latest update, police have not made any arrests. And today, the 3 men convicted in the killing of Ahmaud Arbery will be sentenced on federal hate crime charges. Greg and Travis McMichael and their neighbor William Bryan face possible life sentences. A jury convicted them in February of violating Arbery's civil rights and targeting him because of his race. All 3 are already serving life sentences on Georgia state charges for Arbery's murder. They told police in February of 2020 they chased and shot Arbery because they thought he stole from a home under construction. Authorities later concluded Arbery was unarmed and committed no crimes. Police in New Mexico are asking for help stopping a series of ambush killings. They've happened over the last 9 months in Albuquerque. Police say the victims were all Muslim. The latest happened Friday night. Police say that they are adding more patrols in some areas and asking Muslims in the community to be vigilant. They say that the car that might be connected to the killings is a dark silver Volkswagen Jetta or Passat with tinted windows. To business headlines now, the Labor Department said that the U.S. added 528,000 jobs in July, much more than expected. I reported that here on the podcast on Friday. But another survey of the job market, the Household Survey, paints a weaker picture. The discrepancy lies in how the jobs numbers are tallied, with the payroll survey asking employers and a household survey calling homes. In the payroll survey, even working 1 hour in the week counts as employed. Demand for grocery delivery cools as food costs rise. In June of 2022, Americans spent $2.5 billion on grocery delivery, down 26% from 2020. For comparison, they spent $3.4 billion on grocery pickup, which saw demand drop 10.5% from its pandemic highs. Frontier's cuts involve the airline's winter schedule. It's removed 43 planned routes. It's looking like they're permanently gone, while a further 24 have been pulled for sale in November or between November and January. Most of the domestic routes cut were started during the pandemic. And Florida is warning tourists of fake vacation rentals. The state attorney general says scammers will create fake vacation rental listings in hopes of stealing personal information and money. FBI data shows nearly 12,000 people reported losing $350,000 due to these types of scams in 2021, which is a 64% increase from the previous year. All right, now to Noblesville. A store is taking action against the city as leaders accuse it of operating as a sex shop. The owners say it's an adult baby store that sells medical supplies. News 8's Adam Pinsker explains the conflict.
The store is called My Inner Baby. It opened in November of 2020, but its owners are suing the city of Noblesville after the planning department sent them a cease and desist letter Friday, accusing the store of violating conditions of its zoning. Nestled between Highway 37 and Harriman Boulevard is My Inner Baby, a small store stocked with a lot of baby products for adults.
We're a medical supply store, and we sell adult diapers and related incontinence supplies, as well as costumes for age play, and any type of events where people want to participate in age regression.
Owner Ryan Polikoff says age regression is used in therapy, allowing people to retreat back to a time in their lives when they felt safe.
PTSD comes into play. We've got customers that are military or ex-military that have stressful jobs, and it's just a coping mechanism to help deal with adulting.
An attorney representing the city said because My Inner Baby markets itself with the hashtag ABDL, adult babies and diaper lovers, by definition, it's a sex shop and the business is violating its commercial zoning guidelines.
ABDLs are a group of persons who involve themselves in childlike role-playing for sexual stimulation.
Polikoff says while a portion of his customers may use some of his products for role-playing, he doesn't ask them any questions. His business is licensed by the FDA to sell high-quality diapers to those who need them for medical purposes.
We're going to fight for what's right. The short of it is we're not going to be bullied by people that, want to try to impart morals that are theirs.
A spokesperson for the city of Noblesville told us Friday they would have a statement responding to the lawsuit, but we have yet to receive that statement. Adam Pinsker, Wish TV, wishtv.com, and follow us on Facebook.
This has been your News 8 Daily 8 for Wish TV. I'm Kylie Conway. Online at wishtv.com. And follow us on Facebook when you search Wish TV.
This is the News 8 Daily 8 podcast with Wish TV's Kylie Conway. A Wish TV News 8 update on demand. For even more, on demand and on the go. Connect with Wish TV on Facebook at wishtv.com and on the free Wish TV mobile app. Thank you for listening. And be sure to like, subscribe, and follow this podcast for updates every weekday morning on the All Indiana Podcast Network and wherever you get your podcast.